There, I took a sip of beer. That made it all better. Before we begin, it's that time. That's right. It is that time. Sponsor mentions Doer Activewear, people. I can say it because we're all Doer Activewear people in this room.
Yep.
Jackson's, yours are black.
Well,
I got a black pair, too.
It's the second pair of blacks.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
second
really?
Okay, second pair of black pants. Excuse me. And they are, they're great. They're not denim-y.
Yeah.
They feel much more like kind of like a khaki, but they have the back
elastic
pockets on there. So.
Second pair of black pants. So you have shorts?
No,
Something like that?
black
Just the-
pants.
In color.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's
I wanted to
talking
Cut that
specify.
down just a little bit. We're getting your.
I wanted to specify what I meant by like if I had shorts or pants. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine are gray.
That's nice.
Do you
I
think
got black
I-
this time.
Are mine gray because they just like
Because matching your mood.
I think gray's kind of cool though.
It's better than black of my soul.
Oh, that fits me.
Dead inside. Yeah. Pants from Plants, the best fitting, coolest looking pants and shirts you can wear riding around town. They seriously work. I almost said the literal word, but they seriously work on your bike beautifully, you guys. And then you can brush these things off and walk right into work if you need to without even blinking. Stretchy, comfortable, rugged as hell. Use the link at PackFiller and use the code PackFiller15 to get your style on and off the bike. Scratch Labs, you guys. That's right. The innovation at Scratch continues. New flavors, recipes, and products launching constantly to help fuel your efforts. They had a really good April 1st campaign the other day that I thought was pretty funny. That was, they were venturing into ice cream flavors and stuff like that. And, I thought it was pretty good. Be sure to check out the great community that Scratch has created at scratchlabs.com. If you have not tried strawberries and cream, I haven't placed an order yet, so nobody here has tried strawberries and cream. But it's brilliant stuff. Their recovery stuff is absolutely delicious. Sam, are you feeling better after your recovery beverage? Well,
Sent you guys a
too.
photo of that.
Yeah.
You could literally see my soul being restored.
Check them out. Check out Scratch Lab. Tell them PackFiller sent you. And finally, you, the listener, that's right. You guys have been speaking. You can take us to the next level. I've received requests from listeners. And from the patron program is all fine and dandy, but I understand a lot of you guys. You're bike riders, and you cannot control the amount of money that's hemorrhaging out of your lives. So we created, I guess people were saying, to create the GoFundMe concept rather than so that you can just donate when you have a little bit there, rather than being held down to, I don't know, $5 a month, you cheap bastard. But it'll help advance the support of the Pack Filler. It appears that many of you are under this new plan. We got it. So from the upcoming monthly video magazine, Velo Update, to events, and even an online presence, we're building the empire, but we need your help. Come be a founding member of the Pack Filler. So there we go. Now I can play the theme. Now we're doing it right. It's almost like I haven't been doing this for 24 years.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Is it sad?
That you've been doing it for that long? And you're still making mistakes? No.
No, that I'm still doing it, and I'm still in my own basement.
But you read.
Yeah, why don't we have a clubhouse by now?
It is kind of a clubhouse.
Yeah, but
now.
think about where you recorded before and what you have now.
Yeah.
And
You haven't made money at all. That's beside the point. There's no dollars.
No.
In fact,
No.
it's going the other way because you spend
It
so
is.
much money on it.
Oh, I think I'll always be in the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just keeps multiplying. It started off with you.
And,
Yeah.
and Mark.
And then it was me and Mark, and then it was me, and then it was...
And Frankie Andreo.
Frankie did it with me for a while. Yeah. Hopefully he won't, sue me for saying his name. But, Frankie and I had a great time with it for a long time, and then it just stopped. I think he was like, he's like that kid from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
As he rode off into the distance with all the sponsor money. But, I don't know if there were any sponsor money, so I'm not accusing Frankie of anything. Good dude. It was kind of fun doing that show. Well, it is tax day here in the USA. Many are grumpy while some are realizing they put the wrong deduction on their paycheck and are finally getting the money back they actually earned. That always cracks me up. It's like, look at all this money I got from the government. It's like, no, you earned that, you dipshit. Either way, it's the day that Congress gets to plan for more toilet seats for 2024. Let's not dwell on that, shall we? Let's talk about the cycling life. It's time for Pack Filler. I'm Pat Bulger. With me are the members of the panel who speak up.
No.
Sorry, I did that?
Yeah. He's the worst.
I'm going to bust his balls for a
Yeah,
while.
you should.
Now, Dr. David isn't here with us, but let's see who is here. Gentlemen, talk to us. What book had the most significant effect on you, either currently or within your life? Yes, I'm going to talk about reading, and it could be a specific issue of Winning Magazine that had Rebecca Twigg on the cover or something like that. You know, I'm not speaking from experience or anything like that because everybody had a crush on Rebecca Twigg back in the day. So, are you thinking still?
Yeah, I'm
Should I
still
go to
thinking.
somebody else?
Do you have one?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, first off, he's the guy on rides who calls out his attacks like Babe Ruth calling a home run, Mr. Sam Waples.
Hold on, bitches.
You said, you were like, on old trails, I'm going to drill it.
Yep.
And we're like, oh, God, okay. So
Yep.
as we turned onto that road, it's like, shit, hold on.
Foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, exactly. You got a book that's touched you?
Yeah. Perks of Being a Wallflower.
A lot of people would say that. I don't read.
Oh. We'll see.
What?
Yeah.
Perks of Being a Wallflower?
Yeah.
Really?
That's a good book. Yeah.
I've never read it.
I've heard
so-
that a lot.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a movie on it too.
Yeah.
Which is actually a pretty decent like grassroots indie film
Yeah.
movie.
Really?
Yeah.
And
it has Emma Watson in it,
This is
so.
gonna. I'm trying to find out a way to properly phrase this. I've known a lot of high school girls who've read it.
Yeah,
I've
that's-
not known a lot of guys who've read it.
Yeah.
and I don't mean that in any way bashing, but that surprises me.
Yeah. I mean, I would say I'm more of a sensitive soul. I definitely didn't like watch the I know. Nobody
I'm
gets
so
that.
confused right now.
I'm going to rip your legs off. I'm really sensitive.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck?
Well, I'll be kind to you after I do that.
There you go. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
But no, Perks of Being a Wallflower was a great book.
wow.
I mean, and then also just my era is Harry Potter,
Okay. Wow.
right?
Well, I also
Alright.
never read Harry Potter.
God,
but I
you-
love Harry
You never
Potter.
read Harry Potter?
Nope.
You watched all the movies, though, didn't you?
Yep. And they got
Yep.
a killer video game out right now.
Yeah, they do have a killer video game.
Do you want to tell anybody your major, Jackson?
Yeah, I was a theater major.
And
No, I wasn't a major in anything else. I was a minor.
In what? English?
English and education.
So you read like textbooks and stuff.
No, you read I read books.
Novels.
One of my books that I read was what I'll answer with.
okay. Oh well, I'll just go to that.
Oedipus.
He's the guy who he's the guy who apparently can't bunny hop, Mr. Jackson Bulger.
Right? Do we want to tell the story?
Yeah, of course we want to tell the
Okay.
story. We hinted at it last week when
I
you
know
weren't
I
with
listened.
us.
Yeah. So what happened was I was going down a hill really quickly, and I was going in a crack, or I was trying to bunny hop from right to left over a crack that I do all the time, like every time I ride down this hill. And apparently it just caught at the wrong moment, and I broke the wheel. It was the loudest noise. Like, it was the loudest cracking of anything. Sorry. Sorry, should have really gotten into my storytelling voice when that came on. But yeah, so I am now wheel shopping, but the wheels should be here like tomorrow or the day after. So, yeah. The book, however, I know, kind of not the funniest story. The book, however, is called The Girls by, I think her name's Emma Klein. And it is a soft basing off of the Manson family cult. But I know.
Hello.
Yeah, but it was really good because it talks about how like the cults play off of like the insecurities of people, and like it gives you this like journey of this woman who like is still scarred to this day of it's a really good book, and I really suggest it.
Wow.
It's kind of heavy, but because Manson
Sounds a
family,
wee bit, yeah,
we all
yeah.
know how it ends. Like,
Yeah. Well, unless you're Quentin Tarantino.
right.
And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it completely flips it on its ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that's a really good book, and it's a short read, big font,
Really?
and that was my English class. So
There we go.
yeah,
There we go.
So that's why you had a minor.
yeah. Well,
Hey,
Because major, it's a thicker book that
Yeah.
they have to read.
yeah. Well, I wanted to,
it's the unabridged
Here's
version.
Here's a minor.
and I don't suggest doing that your junior year of college because I had to take a Chaucer class, which if you don't know what Chaucer is, that's the worst thing to read in the world.
yeah.
And then I had to take a whole semester, 3 classes of English. That's so much reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really a reader too. That's why, like, I probably read like total of 30 to 50 books in my life.
Your life, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not really a reader either.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I read comic books. I love them.
And there's nothing wrong with
I
that.
devour them. But I call them graphic novels to make me sound cool.
The only
I do that too.
Freaking
It's a
love 'em.
newer version. It's Instagram. That's it.
yep, there you go.
Instagram. Or Twitter rants.
Or Twitter
Yeah,
ads.
Twitter feed.
I saw something, speaking of Twitter, on Instagram that was a video of a guy, and he goes, "I like to live as our ancestors did, and that's why I don't read." And I really identified with that.
That is, yeah, that's great.
Next, he's the only guy in the room that tears into his bike the morning of a beautiful opportunity to ride, Mr. Paul Main.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I had like a little bit of a drag on the brake, and I can fix it real quick. And then once I started dicking with it, I thought the best thing to do is replace the cable. Now everything's internally routed, so once you get to a certain point, then it's like, oh crap.
It's like
Guess what? I
it's
guess
like
I'm doing the gear. If I'm doing the gear cables too, I might as well just break it down. Packed all the bearings. I just said screw it.
This
I'm
is
gonna
the
get it done.
this is equal to, it's like going just one beer.
Yeah.
And then you're going, God, that was good. I think I'll
That
have
was
another
tasty.
one.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, you're in the gutter with like umbrellas from like
Well,
those
it's
bad
like
drinks.
17
You know, it's
Yeah.
also
Yeah,
very
exactly.
that is very true because it's like how they'll like an alcoholic would never admit to like
No.
it's their
Paul's got a
fault.
problem.
Yeah, and he's like, did you hear that first part of it? Well, it's all internally routed.
Yeah.
It's the bike's fault that it's all internally.
Well, I
routed.
can guarantee
The
you.
bartender just
Yeah.
kept putting them up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I can guarantee you that that R3 Cervelo that Jack brought over that I will possibly buy.
Yeah.
It's all external stuff. I would have had that done in no time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's he wanting
know.
for that thing? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
You know what?
can
It
just
looks
keep
like
it.
it's gonna.
You want
be-
it, don't you?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful bike.
You can beat me to the punch if you want, but
No.
it's my fallback if
no,
if
you're,
something
you
happens
need
to
it.
mine.
Yours is older than mine, I think so.
It's looking like it's gonna be a nice Saturday this weekend. You want to pull?
I'm
your
all
bike
done.
apart?
I got
Yeah.
it dialed in. Rode Sunday.
Relays.
I didn't like ride gravel bikes on Sunday.
You gonna relace the
Sorry.
wheels on Saturday morning,
Yeah.
just middle of the night, just going like, you know what, these hubs are a little fucking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
I
I
know.
took care of all of it. I thought I'm in this deep. Once 11 o'clock came, I was like, no.
Yeah.
That's why I sent that picture to you guys. And I said, nope. I'm doing all of my bearings. Everything's ready. Rig's ready. So.
Yeah.
Well, I got a new set
New
coming
chain.
in if you want to rip anything apart.
All right. Yeah, I can do that.
And we're going to be talking about those here soon.
Oh,
so,
okay.
you got a book that changed.
Yeah, I
you?
had. But usually I can come up with it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
There's so many. I mean, I'm 60.
Yeah.
I'm not a big reader, but there's some like Herman Hesse that I liked. But that's going too deep, existentialist type.
No,
thing,
yeah.
stuff. So, but I would say because it ties into cycling, is the sun also rises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. That's a good choice.
Because in the book, what does it mention? The Tour de France.
There we go. Look at how it's always comes
Mr.
back.
Hemingway said you
Always
could.
comes back.
No one can actually. Cycling is such a beautiful sport. No one will ever be able to do it justice in writing.
Did I ever tell you the Hemingway story that I tell all my students all the time?
You met him?
I know what you're going to say, I think.
He was in a bar once, of course, drinking himself blind, and some people were giving him shit about the fact that his stories are all really wordy. He just overtalks, kind of a thing like that. And they bet him that he could not write a super short story, and so he took a bar napkin, and on it he wrote the world's shortest story, complete story. I'm going to depress you because it was for sale, baby shoes, never worn.
Wow.
And he walked out of the bar.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
How's that
It's-
for depressing
yeah.
as fuck?
That's like, wasn't it Emily Dickinson said use your words like it's money.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
every
there we
word
go.
costs, and you were trying to, each word carries so much meaning.
Yeah.
So he accomplished that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I'm the guy who couldn't possibly get worse at climbing. Wait, hold my beer. I rode this weekend, and I have become worse at climbing. Thanks, pills.
It's not your fault, though.
Oh, that's so good.
No, nothing's technically my fault, but holy shit, I'm bad at climbing right now. I'm just like going, hey, I'm just gonna wait for me, and I just holy Jesus. I mean, I'm gonna get to the really bone I gotta pick, but I'm gonna pick the book I just finished actually because I have a lot of them that have I've really loved. Fahrenheit 451 is one of my favorite novels of all time. Walden Pond, Walden is great. But I just finished a book that I think was perfect timing for me, and I'm not gonna lie, I did it on Audible. I didn't read it. I sat on the train and did it on Audible, and it's a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It is it's like a how-to book on how to live your life and accept what comes, and I kind of needed it right now, and it was just perfect. I finished it and I was like going, okay, all right, we're all going to be fine. So there we go. Let's move on and talk about training. How did the past week go, everybody? Did anybody become a big bike? Sam's like, I'm kicking ass. I'm the fastest guy on the planet. Everybody's gonna suck my wheels.
Well, mine will be short, so I'll go first. Since I didn't ride Saturday, I was rebuilding my bike. I did ride the next day, and I got a 50-miler in. Did
I saw
4
that,
mounts.
yeah.
And apparently you did slow them down because my speed was faster by myself for almost the same amount of distance with more climbing,
Dude,
than your guys' average speed.
I did the same ride with.
I just wanted to point that out.
I did the same ride with Jackson and Sam. The same ride. My average speed was 2 miles an hour slower, even though I was with them
Yeah.
up until the end of the ride.
Yeah.
Which means my climbing was so slow that my average speed dropped by 2 miles an hour.
Because they stopped at the top of the hill
Yeah,
and paused
and
it, right?
Oh, Sam sat at a fucking bench at the top of Pettit Hill. I came up and he was off his bike, sitting on a bench. And he said Jackson wouldn't do it just because he was too nice.
It's so true. I looked at
I
Jackson.
respect you.
Yeah. I looked at Jackson like, Jackson, let's just really drive the knife in. We should take a seat on the bench.
God.
And Jackson just kind of, no.
No.
Okay, this is my dad.
I only got one of them.
Yeah.
You ever seen my dad cry?
It's ugly.
He does it all the time in movies.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, fuck a duck. You guys, how's the training week going? Yeah, Sam, just go. Just
Yeah,
brag.
okay. Crushing. I'm on like such a good balanced lifestyle right now that like it feels like it's never ending.
You sound like a goddamn
I
triathlete.
know. Except
Everything's
like,
wonderful.
yeah.
I'm spitting all over the bar. I'm so happy.
So
I'm
like,
bitter today.
I
Apparently.
know. I love that.
What happened to the art of not giving a fuck?
I give a fuck. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress.
But I probably rode like hard 3 days or maybe 4 days, and then 4 days, and then the other days I think I rode almost every single day. Because the other days I would commute to work, which is just,
yeah.
I mean, like that's nothing to besides a recovery. So it was
Yeah.
like today I was like I woke up and I'm like, I still feel kind of sluggish from going so deep on the weekend, and then I rode to work today and I'm like, I feel like a god again. So it's like a good recovery.
Yeah.
Just- yeah.
That's
Not
brilliant.
riding every day, but getting enough in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackson?
It's honestly, it's like way better. So ever since the weather's been getting nice, when we've been doing our rides, I've definitely noticed what I have been really, really focused on for the entire winter, and what I haven't been really, really focused on. And so I went out yesterday. Well, we did our stuff on the weekend, and then I went out yesterday and I did some sprints, because that's if I'm being really frank, that's what I've worked on the whole winter, because I know that all I'm gonna race are crits. So realistically, I've been trying to just like work on that solely. So pretty happy with how things are going.
All right, I'm gonna talk shit
was a
for
big
Jackson
Oh.
because he's not gonna, and since like he's not gonna, I need to talk shit.
Okay. You who
Don't bring him to the finish line, because he
Me?
will bury you this year, folks.
You just revealed every
I'm
one
just
of our
telling you. I
tactics.
know. I'm just telling you right now, guys. Everyone in Spokane, watch out.
Really?
Jackson's coming in hot.
All right.
And he'll be at the finish line because I'm going to pull him there. I love talking shit.
Oh God, he's just laying it out there. He's just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Arm on the bar.
arm on the
episode,
baby,
Oliver.
arm on the bar,
Yep.
hold an apple. I got in. What am I thinking? What did I say? I got some days on the trainer. Sorry, Paul. But even though it's nice outside, I am spending days on the trainer just because I want to kind of monitor how things are going, and I want to kind of control the environment a little better. And if I suddenly just go flutter boy, I'm at home. I'm not like I got to pedal back 10 miles or something like that. So I got like 3 days on the trainer and 2 days on the road. Strength training. I'm doing that stuff in the meantime. I am way behind. I've never realized how far I am behind, and that the drugs are making it worse. Not gonna lie. The beta blockers are slowing me the fuck down. But I got an ablation in 2 weeks. I think I talked to people like that. And if you read the Cycling Weekly article, you probably know, you've seen me in a hospital bed. Sorry about that. And an ablation, for those of you who don't know, is where they're going to go in through my groin, and they're going to
Way
Not
to
up your
make that
pipe.
weird. Yeah.
It's not going up your pipe.
no,
It's just-
yeah, it is.
just,
Yeah, it is.
no,
Going
no,
up your
not the
pipe.
pipe. Oh no, I won't do it then.
That's a catheter.
Yeah.
They might have one of those in there. What's going on?
Gonna need an extra inch of pipe there, Doc.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you add an inch?
yeah, please,
Two.
yeah, please. And they're gonna go all the way up into the heart and fry the electrical signals that are causing the AFib. And so hopefully, the doc's gonna tell me, hey, great, good job, everything's perfect. You're a model patient. Go out and race tomorrow.
Just like that.
Probably won't. With my luck, they'll probably say, "Hey, you got to take it easy. Probably go really mellow, stay on the drugs for 38 years or something like that." And that's glass half empty kind of a way, but I'm looking at it that way. So we'll see. And the great thing about things is, and I want to thank again all the listeners who've been sending me emails and stuff like that and talking about how they've gone through their issues, and a lot of them have had this procedure, and a lot of them have really done well for 10, 12, 15 years. Some of them have gone back in, and some of them and things like that. But it's a really interesting dynamic. A lot of people out there, especially a lot of us who've been lifelong endurance sports athletes and put this stress on our systems, and it's not a game ender. It is a game changer, but it's not a game ender. And I think that's really cool. And I'm going to somebody mentioned, and I'm saying it as hearsay there. So don't quote me on this, but somebody was saying that Bobby Julich had an ablation process, and I'm trying to reach out to Bobby to see if he'd be willing to come on the show and talk to me about it, just a separate interview, because it seems like there is a dynamic of people out there who are starting to deal with these issues, and so I think it might be interesting to have a little bit of a chat about it and see how we can go from there. So I appreciate everybody out there, and thanks to Cycling Weekly for taking the time to, I don't know, copy and paste and then hit send, something like that. So
It was really good though.
thanks, man.
Really good.
Thanks. I'm trying to keep the funny going. So let's catch up on what is happening in the world of professional racing. News brought to us by our friends at Gooder. That is right, Gooder. Act now before the code is gone. Pack Filler 15 will get you a sick discount. I said sick on the already best price performance eyewear on the market. Gotta get Gooder. The Ardennes are coming, you guys. In case you missed it, the first of the non-cobbled classics. I guess that's what we can call it, even though some of those roads might be cobble. It's like brick, cobble, kind of surfacey. No, it's all paved.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much paved. They hit pretty much hard this last weekend with Amstel Gold on Sunday, showing once again the dominance of Team SD Works as well as that of Tadej Pogacar. What does one do to stop this absolute once-in-a-generation control of the sport of cycling in the women's peloton with this dominating super team that we've not seen since the likes of, I'm going to say, La Vie Claire, and of this punk with his hair sticking out of his helmet? What does one do to stop these two. You guys can pick the SD or you can pick Tade. How would you stop it? You're a team director sitting in your hotel room with candy wrappers all over the bed because you're just sad eating because you don't know what the hell you're gonna do, and you've got this huge budget. Let's say you're Patrick Lefevre, who's just going, oh my God, I stole away Soudal. I've got this great sponsor. We ain't doing dick. What am I going to do? What are you guys going to do in that situation?
I mean, I on
Meth.
Yeah. On the whole Tade side of it all, I mean, it's hard because I've been seeing a lot of things on social media saying that, oh, you bring Remco. But
Yeah.
I think Remco and Tade are on two different paths right now. I think Remco is all in on winning that Giro right now. And I think that he's on like a Grand Tour type of fitness. And I think that, I mean, Tade is a
Tade isn't, though?
Well, what I was about to get onto is Tade is a generational talent that he can be on Classics fitness, but also
Really?
also on World Tour fitness or on a Grand Tour fitness. It's like the only way you're going to beat him is if you bring him to a sprint, and you're Mathieu van der Poel or you're Wout van Aert. That's the
you're
only
one
way.
of the top sprinters.
Yeah, because he I guarantee he's going to outsprint Remco too. It's like
yeah.
there's not a lot of ways to beat him in a classic right now because you one-on-one with Tade. There's no way.
Yeah.
I thought when we were over this weekend, I thought Ben Healy was going to bring him back, and then he baited him in, and then he got almost pushing a minute.
Well, but
There's a car.
yeah. Jonathan Vaughters, do you follow his Twitter account?
No.
He was just like rage tweeting, just like, what the fuck? You know, just there were Tade was getting a free ride.
I think while I get where,
Who do we blame that on? Is the question. Sorry,
The
to interrupt
commissaire.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
his car.
you. Yeah,
and I think while Vaughters has a really good point there, if Ben Healy goes to the line with
it would have.
Tade,
Yeah,
it would have been the same
Academic,
result.
yeah.
So realistically, it's like when push comes to shove, he's going to win. But it's like I don't know if there is any way to deal with him specifically.
Yeah.
And on the SD Works side, it's like when you have a team of like all Tades,
yeah, it's a
there's
power.
no way to
Yeah.
win, and they're all willing to die for one another.
You could just
Yeah.
have him crash out on the, velodrome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just sweep the knee. You know,
Yeah.
right. Go
Whatever
karate
happened
kick
there.
tactic.
I think that's the only way that you can win.
I think
It's-
Trek Segafredo is the only one that could possibly put any sort of candle towards SD Works.
Yeah.
It's the only team that can.
Although tactically we saw it in Paris-Roubaix, I think changing up the game could be something that could help with the women's racing, and because these early breaks with strength in them, and doing something different, trying to flip the cards a little bit might help, but with the men's peloton, I mean, every time I look at, I have the rosters for both races this week. First one is tomorrow. If you're listening to this and it's not live, chances are you're listening to this and you know what happened already. But you're an idiot if you don't circle Tade's name on a start list.
There are only two names in the men's pro peloton that I said before that I think could beat Tade.
Wow,
at all.
Mathieu.
That's it.
And Mathieu actually, did you guys see that Mathieu
Yeah.
actually told Tade this is the climb you should go on? And
And he did.
he did. And then it was all over.
I love that they're friends.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
I love that they're all friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would it be this? Actually, no. I'm going to ask the same question I ask every week. Is this getting boring yet?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Really?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm going to keep asking because someday
Well,
you're just going like, "Oh, this."
It falls
keeps
back to
winning.
your question. Now, how do you beat Tade? Well, he's won Flanders and he's won Amstel Gold the same way. He could not win, of course, against Wout and Mathieu in a sprint at E3. So he has to attack early. I mean, early on a hill because no one's can match them. You see it over and over again.
Yeah.
So, what's your tactic as a team? A couple of teams need to get people up up front and make sure they stay in front of him, and you can't allow him just to be right at the point. And obviously within 60K, he's going to explode. He's going to blow you apart, and it's going to be on a hill. So you just have to think around that. So I don't think it's boring, because now it's to me, I'm watching what other teams are doing to stop this, and they can. Some point they're going to find the cure for it. So my other thing about Tade is, obviously he's superhuman, but how is this going to affect? And maybe it won't, but how is this going to affect the tour? I mean, he's dumping in a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's proven that he can go all season long, but I mean, he's dumping a lot of fuel.
And that hasn't been done for a very long time,
Yeah.
where somebody's been classic strength going into a Grand Tour season. We haven't seen that since
But he's going to
the
be able
days
to take the Giro time off.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He'll probably go to a camp in altitude. But
I would also ask, though, for a lot of these races, like back with Chris Froome, in like Sky Days, and it was very much like, personally, it's like you're rooting against the guy, right? Because you wanted to see something different happen.
Yeah.
But like with Tade, what I find is that I'm like, I still want to see him win, because that the entire peloton is against him. Like, what is that? I mean, that is the coolest thing ever for him to still win. I think every single one of those teams would do a, backdoor handshake to let's screw him up.
you have to. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of cycling.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm
It's
saying. Is like,
okay, you're meeting on the the start line, and the directors are like, listen, we're having two guys up. You should get two guys up. Here's our intentions, but none of us are going to win unless all of us gang up on him.
I know.
And that's what happened to Sagan when he
Yes,
started
yeah,
winning.
yeah.
All of a sudden he's like, and Le Mans' big comment is in the 91 Tour de France. He says it's like everybody is working for me to lose and not for anybody to win. I mean, you get so good that you become such a focus point that, all the teams are like, I'm not going to help you. I mean, he's in a break. It's like, no.
That's so cool.
Shut down.
Yeah.
So that's what makes cycling interesting.
And I think what's been really interesting to watch too is the power that UAE, just the team itself has how much it has shifted, because it almost is like they have a whole year-round squad. And I think the one person that really should get a lot of attention right now is Matteo Trentin. Has been insane. He's been at the front of races, saving things for Tade here and there. And when a break goes up the road, like we saw this last weekend, he would be second wheel. They roll, the front person rolls off, and they gain another 10 seconds. It's like that guy is so experienced in a classic setting that he, I think, deserves almost right underneath the pay of what Tade's getting, because it's been really, really inspirational what he's been doing.
It's just me years. Tade losing the Tour de France last year was possibly the best thing to ever happen to him.
Yeah,
I agree.
He
It lit a
snapped
fire
out
under
of
his
it.
butt. Yeah.
that's what they said on the broadcast.
Yeah.
They were saying that probably losing poked the bear. And you don't want to.
Oh,
poke
they
this
did
bear.
talk a lot about poking the bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, great. There's my thanks, Jackson. Here, I thought it was.
It wasn't original.
Yeah. So much for that. Who can beat Tade, and who can beat? We already mentioned who can potentially topple SD is maybe Trek Segafredo.
Yeah,
but who can beat Tade this weekend? Is it now? We did mention Remco. We just kind of touched on Remco. I think that I do think that Patrick Lefevre has a shrine in his home with Pizza Hut boxes, and because he's sponsored by Pizza Hut. Ironically, I think the pizza delivery is delivering right now. Yeah, he is. He is. Yeah, he is.
That's really funny.
And I think he's praying, please God, win something. Please be my boy, because for this team to go from what it was last year to what it is now is just
The last decade.
Oh, it's.
I mean,
yeah,
we're talking about
even
Quick
from the
Step,
Mapei
right?
days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been absolute crushing, and to see this proverbial donut hole that they're seeing in terms of their record right now has got to be crushing. But I'm glad that Remco is at this race, and you mentioned that he's in Grand Tour form. I think a true test of Grand Tour form will be something like this weekend, because there are individual stages that are where it's all gonna go down, and he's gonna have to show what he's got. So I don't know. I mean, we can start to mention our picks because for we have terrible rosters of Liège. It's very, very scant just because we don't know who's going to race yet. But I had to pick Remco and Tadej just because I want to see that battle. And maybe in a selfish realm, and nobody's holding a gun to my head if I don't pick them right. Yeah. But it's hard to pick a lot of the riders besides those two. I also pick Ben O'Connor. But so who can challenge it? I mean, is it?
I think Cock will be up there.
Oh,
for Liège.
Yeah. I don't think so.
I think you're wrong.
Not after.
Yeah.
Not after.
He had a
Amstel
tough
Gold.
Amstel.
Yeah. I mean, Ben Healy used him tossed him away like a wet rag.
Yeah.
I think
which has got to be hard for him because he started so well, and then that crash for Pidcock that caused the.
I think his focus, though, I think this is kind of, we all have those bad years, but he wasn't all that impressive. I mean, he was impressive. Yeah, I mean, he was a constant third in the cross series, but he used to kind of hang in with Wout and Mathieu fairly decently, and they just could drop him. So, I mean, not massively, but still, nevertheless, this hasn't been his year. But getting back to the point, who could beat in the Liège, I think Remco is the only one that could be a challenge. I think the way he attacked last year, I mean, he jumped on the La Redoute. Yeah. And his back wheel came off the ground. I mean, he just exploded, and he has to get separation from Tadej, and I think he's a better TT guy, so he could keep that distance slightly better. I mean, he's been proven that he's wonderful. That's how he wins. He wins on solo breaks. I think that's it. But if he doesn't get that separation, like Jackson said, he's going to lose the sprint. I mean. Remco's never won a group sprint. If it's uphill, he just kind of wears people down. But yeah,
it could be very interesting. Do you think anybody's going to hold their cards closer to their chest on Flesh before Liège, or do you think it's just if I'm flying, I'm flying?
When you're on, and Flesh that's an unusual one, and for years past because the Côte d'Huy. That's the final climb. Well, they do it 2 more times prior to that, and it's a brutal climb. It's about a little bit shy of a kilometer and a half, and halfway up it jumps from 5 to 6% to 8 to 10 to 17 to 14 for a good 600 meters or something. Then it levels off to a 9 and 8. So, I mean, it's interesting to watch because the camera at the finish line, you just see these heads.
Yeah.
It's so steep that they're coming up. So, but
and there are no benches at the top for you to sit at and wait for me, Sam. Son of a...
You guys realize this is 258 kilometers?
That's a long day.
It's a long day.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Liège?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a monument.
Crazy.
It's the oldest one.
Yeah.
1893, I think.
It's so funny because that race doesn't matter until there's 15K left. Then they're all trying to sort where they want to be going into the final climb.
It's just fatigue. It's just my body's killing me. Yeah. Now we attack.
Yep.
It's like a slightly more exciting Milan Sanremo.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Did you guys make picks? Do we want Flesh is first, right?
Yep.
Every time I say that, I can't help thinking of the Billy Idol. Flesh. The gentleman, 175 starters. I have Tadej Pogačar. Shocker. I have Nelson Powless and I have Magnus Sheffield. So I basically took Sam's picks before him. So that's why I did that, because you sat on the bench and you made fun of me. Asshole. So if all 3 of those riders win, We're both going down together. Yeah. Women, I have Annemiek van Vleuten, Caddy, catching Niwi Adoma, and I didn't pick a third. Oh, I did. I picked Demi Vollering just because I had to pick somebody from SD Works. So those are my flesh picks. Anybody?
Yeah, I picked David Gaudu.
Oh, he's writing very well.
Yeah.
He had a good Paris-Nice.
Yeah. Tadej Pogacar and Nielsen Paulus. And because they also mentioned that he was one of the top 10 riders in the world on the weekend. Didn't he got in a crash?
He crashed, though. I don't know how he is.
So-
I hope he's okay because he did not look happy at Amstel Gold after that crash. He was feeling, hopefully he's all right. He's on the list, so.
For the women, I picked Marta Cavalli of FDJ. I also picked Cecilia Uttrup Ludwig
That's a good
and
choice.
Demi Vollering.
Yeah. Sam.
Pretty much the same. I'm gonna do Lawson Croddick though.
Oh.
Yep.
Jaco Ayula.
He's the leader of the team.
Yeah.
And then for the women, I'm gonna do
You're just
Annemiek
picking
van
one?
Vleuten.
Did you pick
Just
three?
one? Yeah.
No.
Well, no. I have the same as you. Otherwise, I have Nielsen
Oh,
Palace.
okay.
and then I
Oh,
have
the only difference is
Tadej.
gotcha.
But Annemiek van Vleuten, Demi Vollering, right? Is that Vollering?
Yep.
Yeah, and then Elisa Longoborghini.
This is the first time I didn't pick her, so she might win.
Mr. Jinx Man.
I do. I screw up people's cycling careers, including my own.
I'm AFib Man.
Actually, I'm calling myself Ticker Boy.
I'm Ticker Boy.
I am Ticker Boy. AFib Man and Ticker Boy. The new adventures.
There it goes again.
Go on without me.
Sit on the bench.
Avenge
Wait for me.
Anyway, Paul.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So for the women, I have Ludwig. I have Van Vleuten. She has a huge history of winning that race, but she hasn't shown much this year.
Yeah.
And then Vollering also.
Yeah.
And for the men, I have, of course, Pogacar. And I have Ben Healy.
I was tempted.
Ben Healy's been right there. So I thought that's a chance. And then Tej Benoot. Just because I like to say his name.
Yeah.
The Giro last year, is that who I'm thinking of?
Oh.
Ben?
Ben
one?
Healy
He was
got
he was
second.
the first year
weekend.
was last
This
year.
is the year for
He's-
EF
That is.
education.
This
This is
Yeah.
an unbelievable year for
Yeah.
them. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have been watching the Tour de the Alps.
No.
My only one's been watching.
I've been watching.
First of all, Theo Gegenhardt is absolutely dancing.
Yeah.
He's won two stages, the first two stages, and it's climby, it's hilly, and he's riding incredibly well. He was not happy with the finish today. It actually finished on not a completed, but a speed skating rink where they come around onto the pavement of a speed skating rink, and it was a kind of a nasty corner coming around in the final 100 meters. And fortunately, it was after a major climb, so Teo won it pretty handily. But this guy's going to be cruising in the Giro. I just don't know who's going to be. We do know who's going to be there, and that's a tough one. Liège is. I don't mean to disrespect the women, but the start list is so barren right now. It's hard to pick those riders. So
I'd pick the same. I bet you the same that's on Flesh
yeah,
is going to be pretty close to the same one. So I'd pick the same three.
Yeah.
Again, anyway. So
For the guys, I'm assuming everybody in this room is picking Tadej and Remco. No, Sam. No, you're just gonna whoever's.
No,
floating in the
I
river.
did Tade.
Stars and bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stars and bars.
That's the Americans.
Yeah.
Oh, doing it.
that's
Oh,
what they
really?
used to call a national team jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stars and bars.
So who's your other two riders then?
Tej Benoot
Yeah.
and Pidcock.
Oh, okay, Pidcock. Okay.
I did pick Remco and Tadej, but I also picked Giulia Ciccone.
Oh.
Yeah, on a little bit better form than Bauke Mollema.
Yeah.
I went with Tadej and Evenepoel and of course Tej Benoot.
Tej Benoot. I went Tadej, Evenepoel, and Ben O'Connor because I just want to see an Ajay Desert rider win.
I think Benoit Cosnefroy.
Yeah,
has a
I think
chance.
he's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah. Hey, BMC.
Yeah.
Give me that.
Yeah.
Clue phone, line 1. Call me. Let's get to our topic for tonight's show, brought to us by our friends at Wahoo Fitness. Trust me, you guys, you need proper training data, especially if you're dealing with a wonky ticker boy. Wahoo has you covered on all aspects: indoor training gear and platforms, monitors, computers, and so much more. Use the link at Packfiller. We get a few pennies, by the way, when you do that. Yes, yeah, I gotta keep these guys in beer. Become a Wahoo-ligan. So let's talk about training, racing, and life. We've kind of touched base on this, but topics evolve, people evolve, and things change in our lives. And I think it's an interesting concept to try to see how things are going. None of us are professional athletes. I don't know if you guys know that or not. Yeah.
Did you see me last weekend?
You were flying. You were flying. Can I say this in a non-sexual way? You have
My
developed
calves.
a bubble butt, man. It is just like
It's
it's
a
just
horse
like
ass.
it is.
It's a horse ass.
It's just like wow. His butt is
it's
big.
my- it's my
and I
ham
mean that in a
hocks.
good way. It's like I was talking to Jackson.
It's
oh
Christmas.
my God, Jackson!
Christmas hams.
Look at his butt.
I was not a part of that conversation, however.
It's just rhythmical.
To quote the great Paul Maine, I like something to grab on.
Grab onto.
It's you, dude.
Oh,
You've
way
been-
to pull that out.
Yeah.
You've been doing your
Callback.
You've been doing
Oh
your
my-
squats. You've been doing your squats, man, and
Well.
and I just noticed.
It's
Because
great
I can't
drafting
hold it.
behind it.
It
It's
is.
like there's
The
no wind.
Wavell's wind tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was known for in college.
Trip in the air for me. I like that.
So we're not professional riders, but we are all, however, addicted to this stupid, idiotic, extremely expensive, obviously life-damaging sport. Notice that I didn't say racing, though, at any given point in time. I talked about the sport. I talked about the love of riding. I talked about, the training elements. So, first of all, would you agree with me that we're addicted to riding, not racing? I know what Paul's going to probably say.
No. That's what keeps me riding is racing.
Riding is
Yeah.
racing. Okay. Okay. Racing is life. Football is life.
Football is life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that historically racing would be, it's just that we don't really have it much on the calendar.
Yeah.
So the idea of having the local stuff is keeping me motivated. I mean, knowing that SCR or I really got to learn the name of the new
Spokane Raceway.
No, it's like Quilp
yeah. It's a
It's a
native.
Q.
It's a
Yeah.
Native American term.
Yeah, we got to learn it. Put that on the agenda.
Yeah.
But anyway, knowing that that's coming back was definitely a motivator. I'm motivated by racing. I don't care what my results are, but I am motivated to I want to be in shape for this. So, and that's what makes me ride, because there's a lot of days that I'll wake up and I'm like, I don't really want to ride today. But the thought of being able to go out and, try to break some souls is motivating.
So there is that. So it is. It's not the number pinning on. It's the breaking of the souls.
Oh, it's just breaking souls.
so you can just
All I
crush
wanna-
us and never have to actually pay an entry fee.
Totally. The weekend, absolutely going out
Yeah.
and just shattering people and just being shattered.
Yeah.
Like I was on Saturday at the end. Man, that just,
You're just saying that to make me happy that you were tired after that ride on Saturday.
I thought I
You're just saying
texted you
that to
guys.
make me
I
feel
love
good.
my soul is somewhere up on 57th still.
Really?
I went lights out after Jackson left.
I came through on old trails to prove a point.
Yeah.
And I think it lasted about as long as I have sex. It honestly was just like, okay.
How was it for you guys?
Yeah. I think that's about how long
Are
it
you
was.
done too?
Yeah. I'm satisfied.
Oh my gosh.
I shouldn't say this stuff on a
that's good.
worldwide published podcast, but fuck it.
I like
And so I was like, I gotta come through at least once, and I did. And then
I was hurting.
Did you hear brakes behind you going?
it's just,
I know.
A
whoa,
lot of freewheeling.
whoa.
Wait, why did we go from 30 miles an hour to 18?
You asshole.
You got a flat pat? What's going on?
It was a substantial pull. It was.
Yeah,
It
you're
was.
so mean to me, and I love it. Jackson, talk to me about racing versus riding. Could you do one without the other?
Maybe I didn't actually no. I've been so competitive my entire life.
Yeah.
Of course, that competition is what kind of spurs me on. I really enjoy riding with you guys for the camaraderie part of it all. But I also like that racing aspect. I like a line that I have to beat somebody to because I have that comparison in my mind.
Sure. Mm-hmm. I gotta say, I'm kind of. I get so into my own head when it comes to pinning a number on that at many times I'm talking myself out of it all the way up until the line goes off. All the way up.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Just find an excuse. Go home. Just don't do this. The demon on my shoulder going, you suck. Don't do this. And I'm like, you're right, head. But then I do the race, and all of a sudden that switch goes off, and I'm Pat the asshole, and I'm yelling at people, and I'm trying to be the patron of the peloton, kind of a thing like that, and that's a different. It's weird, but I so much love going out and just busting it out on the roads that I'm kind of at the point where I could still go without racing, but I think at some point in time, especially because of this platform where we talk about it so much, that I don't think I could ever not do it. But so I don't know. I'm at an interesting crossroads. I
came across my ride Sunday, and I'm sure it's part of the Gravel Brain Trust group going the opposite direction, and they were big smiles on their faces and stuff. And they do enjoy, there's people who go out and ride for the camaraderie like we do, but on a different level. They see things they actually, enjoy, like the terrain and tackle. That's their joy.
That's
and I
so
think,
boring.
But, to them, that's everything. And that's the same thing as like for us for racing. It's so unusual about cycling that there's so many different disciplines. Some people like mountain biking, and some of them just do those flow tracks and stuff. And that's what they live for, and that's great. And I just heard on Escape Collective on one of their podcasts, somebody called in and asked, what bike that he's going to Colorado. Should he bring his gravel, his hardtail, or his road bike? And they're like talking, well, there's some really great rides with good scenery, and I'm like, who rides their bike for scenery? And then it dawned on me. A lot of people.
Most people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just a different take. And I don't know if you're in that category. That's why I bring it up. Are you at that point? Because you're talking about last year, it didn't work out, but you were going to go across the state. And what was your
I think you wanted to achieve.
I wanted to hurt myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to hurt myself. And I'm not.
And you can't do that racing?
Yes, I can. But I can also do it on Saturdays with you guys bleeding out my eyeballs. And that's the thing is, I'm not the type of rider who's just going to say like, okay, I'm not racing anymore. Now I'm just going to soft pedal everywhere. Absolutely not. I love the pain and the suffering of it. And I also love the fact that we can go super hard until it's everybody's exhausted, and then we can get back together and do it again. Or you can stop and have a beer someplace and then go out and do it some more or something like that. And so I'm kind of at that bridge between. I'm not going to lie. Also, in case you guys didn't know, I have a problem with people, and sometimes there are people I don't want to race with who are in races who are absolute, cock knockers,
then
I don't
beat 'em.
want to race with
I'm
them.
right here.
Just beat 'em.
Pat.
No, it's not just you, Sam.
For those of you that don't know, there is the great rivalry of the Whipple Bulger.
I don't know. I think Sam started it.
So it did.
Yeah, you're just too young, punk.
Well, don't you take that with people you don't want to race with,
Yeah.
and take that to work to beat that person, beat them down. I mean, figure out strategy or teamwork and stuff like that. That's how because there's always some jerk in there.
It doesn't do it for me. I could win, and it doesn't do it for me.
What?
If I was really upset with, I know where you're coming from with
Yeah.
that, because like there's plenty of riders where I'm like, God, I don't want to go to this because of
Yeah.
XYZ. And if I won, I'm not gonna go over there and be like, you know,
I'm not
You don't
gonna
have
rub
to,
it in their
but that's-
faces.
No, but
Yeah.
that's
Just
what I'm
be
saying, it's
passive
like,
aggressive about it.
Yeah.
It's just like, you're not all that.
Yeah.
I just beat your shit. So
And I find that there's also there's something in humility, in like a humble winner.
Yeah.
like
'Cause-
Toddy.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when you win and you don't say anything, that's almost worse.
Yeah, it is.
oh yeah.
When you're nice about it afterwards,
So, are you humble if you intentionally rub it in by not saying anything? Is that humility?
Well, you keep it
coming
inside.
from a
you don't
humble
know.
person, yes.
Okay. All right. Now, help me out here, you guys. We're going to talk about our main topic here is about balance, but I'm going to admit to you guys, in case you didn't know, I'm way behind on my fitness. I'm about 9 weeks behind on my fitness. How do you guys handle the times when you realize you got a lot of catching up to do, but you work for a living, you have family obligations for some of this? None of us do, but some people do.
Weddings.
You have
coming up.
weddings to plan for, things like that. How do you figure out how to catch up without destroying everything in your life? And if so, Paul, you and I are the kind of people, because of our age bracket, that we can't suddenly just magically go out and train hard for a month, or go out and have tacos and sunshine and come back in a week and be flying. Hi, David.
Man.
Or Jackson, you two guys, you can crank it out for 4 to 6 weeks and be absolutely dancing. We can't do that. What do you guys say to, or how have you dealt with situations where you found yourself behind and finding ways to catch up?
Oh man, it's
You can't even talk on this topic.
He's still
2
gifted
weeks and
with
you're
the-
a hero.
He's still
Last
gifted with the
weekend-
thunderbolt.
No, yeah,
it's
2
like,
weekends ago, it was like, hang on, Jackson, for dear life. And this last weekend, you're sprinting around me multiple times. Next weekend,
Yeah.
I'm going to be holding onto your wheel.
yeah.
This
so
is not.
I recognize that, and that's what's so special about being the age of 23. But like, there is something about it that being me, I always stress about the fact that will I be there at the time, and there is a 3-4 month period of constant anxiety that we talked about on the weekend that sits in me. And I think that's something that's really hard and not really talked about a lot, is that like there is this really big thing about in the sport where we constantly compare each other to another person. I mean, we're all bike racers. And so like I've recently had to come to terms with like the anxiety, and I continuously use anxiety for a very specific reason. The anxiety that I constantly feel. And I think what is really important to tell people is that like it's okay if you're not on the same fitness as other people, because you'll get there eventually. You need to be just on your own timeline. And so how I deal with that is I just, like I said, I go on my own timeline. I trust my process, and you'll reach that fitness when you want to reach that fitness if you have that specific goal. And it's okay if you feel stressed. It'll come. It'll all be there. Like I said, it'll all be there when race day is there. So,
But
yeah.
will it though? I mean, I'm speaking from. I'm asking for a friend. Our first local Twilight series is next Thursday, or Sam, your series is
this Thursday, but it's not the race series.
But that's a dick measuring contest, just the
Totally.
same. I mean, and what do? I mean, I undiagnosed obviously have the same anxiety issues, and I take it out by pouting.
I feel like a broken record when I talk about this stuff, because, and maybe everyone's just like, shut up, Sam, we all know, we all agree, but like, it's all framing your mindset. And that's what was like the biggest thing for me. It's like framing it on that I get to hurt myself every single time, as opposed to like, oh, great, I'm just going to go out and get absolutely wrecked by an entire group, go home and cry myself to sleep.
Yeah.
That's not how I look at it. Like last year was a perfect example of, I am in this in-between phase of where it doesn't just happen overnight anymore. Like it used to be like I'd start riding and then like, oh, there goes 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
now I am flying in any, way. But last year I spent the whole winter. There was probably 5 months where I did not touch my bike, like even look at my bike, because I was doing the basement reno thing.
Yeah.
Right. And then came into spring, trash, like could barely ride, and got my teeth knocked in all the way until like end of July. And then I was like, all right, I feel good. But every single weekend I'd go out and I'd be like, let's go hurt. And it was great. Like, but if you look at it that way, like, I mean, there's still gains to be made, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be the fastest guy on the day. There's always next year.
That's right.
That's right. But yeah,
you guys.
I just think like it's framing the mindset to be, looking at it in a positive way.
Okay.
I'm a millennial.
Let me ask you this. As a person, let's say you're not on your A game. And let's say we're just over a week away from our first local race. Would you race a category down in order to be competitive?
No.
Or would you get
No.
shelled in the upper competitive?
Absolutely.
Everybody would?
Yeah.
I would race in my category, and I will tell you what I would do.
Okay.
Because I have been here. If I was not in good shape, and I'm saying if I wasn't in good shape, because I am, and I'm going to rock all you out there this next weekend.
So there he is, Babe Ruth. Just called and shot Babe Ruth at the plate. Everybody.
But like last year, for instance, or years before, I would just try to change the format of the race with like whatever I had, right?
Sure.
I know I'm not winning, so I'm going to make sure you lose. Like, that's my whole thing.
You are
and it's
such
like just
a lovable asshole.
Yeah, just animate a race, right? Like, you're not going to be the best out there, so let's go see what I'm going to bust it all out. Shit,
Right.
we can mess up right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing with the training race, right? It's a training race.
Yeah.
If at least the way I approach it, I know, especially at my age, I'm not going to win. But the thing is the purpose of that is trying things and also working on increasing your fitness. If you were thinking, well, my only chance to win is to sit in and be a tail gunner, you just wait to, $30 for a race?
Yeah.
It's like, to me, that's a waste. This means nothing. This is just a local race that's put on.
Every single person should
Why
show.
not try go on a break or mark? Just say I'm going to mark this guy there's a certain guy that's top notch in our area. Go on his break and see how long he can last. Maybe it might work. I mean, try things you normally wouldn't do. That's what training races should be, not just for the. I mean, no one remembers who won last week except the person who won, basically.
Yeah.
Or the ones that okay, he's not going to win next week. But that's the only thing. No one has. God, you shouldn't be taking those seriously.
Unless you're me, then it's a mental snapshot you keep forever.
Well, it's time to shift gears, man. Go out there. Now we have a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have a good team.
Yeah, we have a team, and we can try different things. And there's a bigger team out there with a bunch of heavy hitters.
Yeah.
That
I'm going to peel apart
every
one
week,
by one.
Yeah, that's nice to think that. But every week,
good for
I
you.
hope said team
Yeah.
knows who they are and knows.
Santa Claus is real. So,
Yeah.
We got two of them here.
yeah.
No, three of them here.
Yeah. If you guys had, let's talk about balance. Let's talk about balancing life and and making it all work. If you had all the time in the world, how much time would you train? Miles, hours per week, kind of a thing like that. If you had all the time in the world.
I think about this all the time, so I'm going to jump right in and be quick. I would do the same, maybe at most 10 hours a week.
At most.
Yep.
With all the time in the world.
10 to 12. Because that would accommodate for like good 4-hour rides on the weekend and then maybe hour here and there during the week.
Oh, wow.
Because like you can get so many other things done. Once again, I'm 32. I'm not going to be professional. Like riding your bike at some point is one of those things like, but why? What's the point of this? Like you're pedaling circles. So it's just one of those things where I think that, I wouldn't change it because balance, I'm able to see my wife, I'm able to do house projects, and I'm able to be in good fitness.
But I did say you had all the time in the world.
That's
So,
fine.
okay.
I would still do a ton of house projects.
still do other projects.
yeah.
That's balance. Wow. You've
I would
achieved
donate
a state.
time to, different charities around Spokane.
Now you're just being a dick.
No, I'm-
Stop it. You're
I'm
just
looking
rubbing
for
it
a
in.
you just
cure
said I
for
don't have to work.
cancer.
Yeah,
You said
and
I don't
I'm
have to
gonna-
work.
I'd make the world a happier
What else are we gonna
place.
do?
I'd
Ah.
wash the feet of all the poor people.
Yeah.
in
Only
Spokane.
so much Hogwarts you can play
That's true because I've done it, all of it. So
in every
Jackson,
house.
all the time in the world.
all the time in the world. I mean, I'm probably not going to answer too differently from Sam. I'm 23 years old, and so you want to know how old Tadej Pogacar is? He's 24, and you want to know what I turn next week? 24.
Yeah.
So really, I'm not going to be winning.
So there's a chance, though.
Well, but the thing is,
Next
I'm not
week.
going to be winning Amstel Gold and Tour Flanders. Like, I know that, and I think that that's something that a lot of 23-year-olds probably don't know when they like have a talent for a sport.
Yeah.
And I really like living a human life, and so I would probably ride so I could be like pretty fit or like at a top level within the group here in Spokane or within the state. And so realistically, would I change very much from what I'm doing now? No.
Wow. I didn't expect this response. This is really interesting.
I also see in my work that I'm changing lives and that I'm working with the future, and it's almost like
You guys are just so selfish.
I believe the children are the future.
but it's like I don't know if I could I don't know if I would really change. I don't know if I would even quit my job because I really do like to, like I said, be able to be a part of that shaping process of what the future is to be.
Oh, I'd only do bike fits. I don't do PT anymore.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well,
But to that extent, because I could still help a bunch of people with that.
sure. Okay.
Paul
Paul and I are just be like going, screw it. I'd ride my bike all day, every
No,
day.
I
hours
wouldn't.
a week.
I wouldn't.
I'd move downtown and not mow my lawn.
There
Never
we go.
again.
Now, see, to me, it's like because I'm looking down the barrel at like 5 to 6 to 7 years. I'm retired. So that's not too far away. So what would I do with my time? Well, some of the reason for us to move downtown is that when traveling is easier with our condo, we'll just lock and leave.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about, there's a storm and a tree fell down on your car. One of those things. Yeah. So none of that.
Still too soon.
Yeah. But to me, it's like I love cycling, but I would only train for what's good for me at my level.
Yeah.
Which 60 years old, my races are barely 70 miles. Why would I train any more? I don't have to do. I just do in some intensity and stuff. And speaking of a balance with life and work, I signed up for. Everybody's got a drink here. I'll get a little sip.
a little something in there.
Tour de Bloom. And I was pretty happy with my climb to my fitness, and I was aiming, and I've been watching who's registered and going over the courses and watching tons of videos for the last couple of years of people doing the crit, and I'm just totally jacked. And then all of a sudden, my son gets kidney cancer. Kind of slows you down a little bit. He's doing okay. He came out really well on the surgery. I didn't lose his kidney, so and he's repairing. I mean, he's recovering pretty good. And
Good to hear, man.
yeah, and then we sell the house. We're working on selling the house, so everything that I needed to do in my house for the last 10 years, I'm doing like in the last 2 weeks. So I haven't been riding. So I was really looking for Saturday. And then, because the bike's been sitting around, and I'm like, I know I need to fix this because this is going to drive me nuts.
It couldn't have been wonky for one more day.
No. You have no idea. I was like going nuts. There was a dead spot where it was dragging a little bit.
Somewhere
Anyway.
there's a maitre d' going, OCD? OCD, table for one.
Yeah, I lived with it too long. So anyway, so that hampers what I was looking forward to in the race that I registered for.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking at, because we may do an early close, I may not be able to make it. And so that's one of those things, but I have to sacrifice, that to me, this is a bigger step than that. I'm going to do a SAM. I'm going to call it samming. I'm going to pay and not show up.
You're going to pull a SAM.
Yeah, we're going to do some samming. I did a samming. I'm going to call Ace. Hey, Ace, I'm not going to make it.
I sammed it.
I sammed it.
Yeah.
I did
I'm
the
gonna
sam.
sam it.
Yeah. So hopefully I
here's
can
my
make
money.
it. Yeah. You can keep
Enjoy.
it. But I think of course he's going to appreciate the money.
Yeah.
But I think participation is a bigger thing. Than,
Yeah.
You want to see the bodies there.
Yeah.
So
Because then the people that show up are like, but 100 people are registered. There's only 50 here.
just a side note on that, which is amazing. What category you think is the fullest?
Masters, men.
Nope,
Cat
they're
4-5.
really down.
Cat 4-5.
They're up there. 1-2s.
No
What?
Massive.
Wow.
Yeah. They have the team
That's
category,
crazy.
and it's down from the years past, but they have, I
It
think,
used
like
to be
40 some.
huge.
Yeah.
That's great to hear, though.
That's, I think,
cool.
the largest number right now.
I would, by the way, if I had all the time in the world, I would train for longer type of, gravel stuff and things like that. And I'd do like bike packing trips and stuff like that. I don't know. I must be settling into old age. It's just like
I just think like
I'm just gonna go all Steinbeck on your asses and load up my car with my dog and go out into the. I'm gonna discover myself.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good
Just,
old Jack
I just feel
Kerouac
like
over
you
here.
like think
no,
about
Steinbeck on the Travels with Charlie, man.
if you
Great
spent
book.
4 hours
That's
every
the
day.
book that changed my life. Shit.
Travels with Charlie.
There you
John
go.
Steinbeck. Great
But
book.
if you spent like 4 hours every single day riding, what do you do?
You probably dab your taint to make it feel better at the end of the day because you're sitting on your ass for 4 hours a day on a saddle. There's no saddle that's going to make 4 hours a day feel
No, and that's why like I don't know.
better. Yeah, that's true. That's a great
My
point.
physique you could sit on that all day.
I'm going
long.
to tell you what, right now, I've sat on that damn thing. No way in hell.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel your butthole.
No,
That's because
not after-
you guys have
after one
birthing
day.
hips. That's the problem. I got a
No.
little pin ass,
No.
so that it fits perfectly. So
Got what, 2.1 BMI
sitting
is what
on
I
his
heard from my
bench
doctor. No way am I feeling good after that.
To quote Pacino, she's got a great ass. What's the minimum? Now, if you guys want to be competitive, what's like, oh my God, I have to get at least blank in per week?
I don't.
There's
Once
no minimum.
again,
You're
I
just
don't- I
you're
don't
just
have-
going out to hurt.
No, well, yeah, exactly. Like I have no. I need to keep up. Like if I was not in this shape and you guys were faster than me, I would just want to show up so that I can get my teeth knocked in. I love that, right?
Yeah.
But for me, like for my sanity, my
Yeah.
wife will literally kick me out the door if I don't hit at least 3 hours a week.
Mine will.
Like she
too.
would leave. Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah. Mine's angry with me because of the AFib. Because I am angry. Mm-hmm. And she's like going, oh my God, I want you to go out and ride your bike. I'm going to punch you in the nuts. She seriously is. I
Yeah.
mean, because I'm walking around the house pouting. I'm
Yeah.
like a 4-year-old who's had his toy broken, or my son when a balloon flew off into the air and it
there
took him
goes my AFib.
probably, exactly.
It looks like another day on the couch.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Thanks for noticing.
Sorry, Pooh. I can't play with you or ride with you today.
It has never been so more on the mark than it is right now.
Okay, Eeyore. Yep.
So yeah, I mean, there needs to be a minimum. I mean, and it's just, I don't know. During spring break, after those 2 days, I came back and I was just destroyed mentally. But I came down here and I cleaned my bike. I worked on stuff. I kind of tinkered down here, and I find myself, I mean, even if I'm not riding, I can still be in a space that I associate with it. I don't know if that makes sense. And so even that helps or something like that. But man, it's there's a minimum. Do you guys have it? Paul, Jackson, you're still new to all this, I guess, in the grand scheme of things.
Anymore, it's, I don't know if we're getting we're getting a little bit longer into it, but I don't necessarily equate time. I more equate like how many times I do it for.
Yeah.
And so a minimum for me, I like to do 3 in a week, 3 rides, whether that's inside, outside, 30 minutes, 4 hours, whatever. I just
Straddle
like
a
to do
top
something.
tube.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when my doctor told me 30 minutes, 3 times a week, I was like, great, that's already what I'm doing. So that's what I stick to.
Your doctor told you that you
Yes,
need to do at least 30 minutes 3 times?
Yeah, like healthy adults, 30 minutes, 3 times a week.
Chicken scratch.
Well,
Tip of
yeah.
the iceberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, for us, that's
So you're telling me it's like a shot of whiskey
right.
3 times a week. So if I drink a whole bottle 3 times a week, I'm healthy.
It's just as long as it's only
Bad
3 times a
analogy.
week.
Bad analogy.
Yeah.
But, you know.
But ultimately, like, I like to minimum 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
my incessant nature, I am intensity all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Paul, what's your minimum?
I don't do. I mean, I used to get upset, and I think I've accepted that life, like what's happened in the last month in my life. It is what it is. When I can go out, I can go out. You know, the thing is, like I said, I could feel myself building, and then life happened. I won't let it affect me like it used to. Before then, that's my focus. Is like I'm missing this day, and then I'm grumpy. It's like, you know, I'm an old man. I'm just not. I'm going to race, and I'm still going to race, and I'll get my teeth knocked in, but that's right. I'm okay with that because eventually I'll get back into it. I mean, that's just the way it is.
There's always next year.
And I think that's what's, you know, I'm looking at in the future, too, that I'm going to buy a new commuter bike, and I'm going to ride to pick up my car from the South Hill, from downtown, and, you know, that's going to be that does wonders, not just so much for racing, but
Your soul.
clear my mind and everything. That I'm turning the styles, whether it's in anger or just commuting. So
When did you guys become so
zen like.
damn
Wow, we're
zen?
really
It's like I'm just
Well, I
sitting here
had
going,
to.
I hate the world. I'm pissed at everything. Blah, blah, blah.
you guys are like, Pat,
You haven't
peace,
ridden your bike
love, happiness.
But I think we come from the same school
Shit.
because when we raced, you had Monday was your easy day.
Monday's
day
off, Tuesday
blah, blah,
sprints,
blah.
Wednesdays
We were
distance, Thursdays
regimented.
intervals, Fridays off, Saturday and Sunday are race efforts.
And when I missed a day for something,
Yeah.
that ruined my whole week. And then in my mind, I'm going to the race. Well, I know if I don't do well, it's because I missed my intervals on Tuesday. I mean, you would literally tell somebody that. I don't expect much because I didn't, the shit that cyclists say,
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
This is my life. You have just entered my
But
brain.
I had, in order
Nothing
to.
has changed since I was a teenager.
But the thing is in order to continue on and enjoy it, I just had to drop that. It is what it is. The art of not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do.
I've got to work on it. I didn't say I finished the book and understood. I didn't become some sort of fucking disciple. When have you gone too far? Relationships wise, life wise, when have you obsessed too far? Or when has the relationship taken over too much? Paul had the greatest story. I think you've told it on the story on the show
practice
before, but I
marriage.
love that one.
That Mother's Day Massacre.
Practice. Oh, that was a good one. That was good. I don't know if the listeners
He
know
has
that one.
titles
You
for
have a
all of
quick
his
one?
stories.
Yeah.
I got short little stories. Yeah.
You have short little
Has
stories.
anybody else
which
ever gone too
time?
far? Really?
Yeah.
I've got to the point where my wife and I are planning a trip, and I'll be like, "Can I bring my?" And she just looks at me. It's like, "Okay, I guess I won't bring my bike."
Yeah, and oh, man, I love my wife because she's like, you're not gonna have time for that, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I don't even.
You're not
I
like
really don't care.
dare.
Oh yeah, I know,
I
right?
can fit time.
Yeah, I guess in this point in my life, I really don't care if we take our bike or not. But I would say across the board, everything that I do, I get pretty hyper focused on.
Yeah.
And so at some point, my wife has to come and be like, yoink,
Yeah.
and pull the cord out of the Xbox.
You don't regret that? You don't get angry?
No, I'm like,
do you
oh,
realize
yeah,
you're
good
right?
point.
Okay.
Oh, I trust her.
Yeah.
100%. If she's like, that's enough, I'm like, sorry.
That's a good marriage.
Because it's true. It is. I mean, anybody that knows me knows that I get hyper focused on something and I'll do it too much.
Yeah.
I did it with cycling early on, done it with house reno stuff, done it with everything.
Yeah.
So
Jackson, have you and your fiance established those kind of boundaries or rules or anything like that? Or are you still kind of testing the waters?
we never really need to do that because I love riding and I love racing, but I also really, 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 really love to relax. So
at home.
yeah, and so if I don't want to do it,
Is that a gummy bear?
well, yeah, I really enjoy that type of stuff. So it's I don't know. I find myself after a while just being like, all right, I don't really want to do this, so I won't do it today. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just
Yeah. I don't have that self control.
I have a built-in. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So that's my procrastination. Just still sticking with me.
So and Sam, you brought this up. We are all kind of. I remember a couple episodes ago we talked about the priorities in life. It's like I think family, bike, and then something else. Whatever that is. Do any of you guys have any other hobbies in your life that take up time, or is this kind of the one thing?
I was thinking about this the other day, which is why I brought the topic up. Is we do this on Tuesday nights, right? So my wife is like the best because she has workout class on Monday nights at 6, so I don't really see her until later in the evening.
Yeah.
Well, I have this on Tuesday. Now I'm going to have the bike race or ride on Thursday. And so it's like you slowly add up days. On the weekend, she knows. She's like, well, I mean, I only can really ride Saturday. Since you like to ride with your friends, we probably won't be able to ride this weekend. Like, she just gives me that day. She's like, oh, you can have Saturday. And I'm like, oh, we could do Sunday. Like, I could, ride with you on Saturday and do Sunday with the guys. Like, anyway, it takes up a lot of your time, and like, I think it's different for everybody, but yeah, coming to a place of like, what is a good compromise and like trying to condense things down because we don't have to spend so many hours on a bike. I truly do think like coming from the medical side of this, if we're like chasing this endorphin rush, go harder for shorter. Like go and just destroy yourself in 50 minutes and you're going to feel just as happy as if you're out on the bike for 3 hours. So it's like finding that balance, right? We don't have to spend so much time on a bike.
Yeah.
Like I think that there is therapy to like going out and when we get those long days and get to, explore out in the Palouse or up north, it's awesome. But it doesn't have to be like that. I think finding balance is best.
Anybody else?
Shit.
Anybody have any? Yeah, that was like. Okay.
I've thought a lot about it.
See you next week, everybody.
Well, I think for me, I don't have anything else. I used to have other things.
Yeah.
He used to have a practice wife.
Yeah, I had a practice wife, and I figured that out real quick. But I had another lesson at Mother's Day Massacre with her, and then I had to learn the lesson all over again. And then, there's always next year.
And Pete's sitting down ever since.
Yeah. But I think, for me, it's just finding different things. My wife and I like to travel.
Yeah.
And that is part of the reason why we're moving downtown. Not that Spokane's like when we go to Europe, but the idea of a home is a place instead of a place when I go for a ride and think, I got to frickin' fix the fence or that was the driver for me. And there was always something. There's paint chipping or I've got to fix on this or, the faucet's dripping. And it's like always something. And I'm done with that in my life. I loved it when I was in my 20s and 30s. Now it's like, oh, God, this thing's just an eyesore.
Yeah.
So, our intention is moving downtown is that, like I said, I'm going to get a commuter bike and I will grocery shop. We'll go for a ride. She's got a little cruiser with a little basket so Flanders, our dog, can sit in it. We'll go. But, we go to Mary Hill Winery. It's off in Kendall Yards. I mean, that's the stuff we would do in Europe and walk around and move as opposed to getting cranky because I have to be on my hands and knees weeding the garden and things that we don't like to do, but you do because you own a house.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just that balance is an individual thing. Like, you and your wife
different.
and my wife and I's time is not, she's not a rider. She used to run, but it's going out and grabbing a bottle of wine and sitting there and watching the sunset or whatever.
Yeah.
And we like that.
I don't know a whole lot of really passionate cyclists who are golfers or who are.
I used to be.
Yeah. But
I
you
golfed
don't
and
anymore,
cycled
right?
at the same time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Were you married?
No.
That makes sense.
Not even close.
There it
Not
is.
even close.
There it is.
I didn't have time
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah,
you
I
kidding?
know. That's what I'm saying.
So the marriage is one of it
Yep.
takes over the other one. So yeah,
Yep.
you can have two hobbies.
Yep.
One of them has to be I don't want to call marriage a hobby. That would be bad.
I mean, no, I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, your marriage should, I think, and if it's healthy, come above all else, right? But there should be that, like, mutual. It's just like my wife has. It's a very,
But it's
that
different.
sounds,
Yeah.
it sounds like she's dictating it. It's not that way.
No.
It is very much like, it's just a mutual respect. And it's like, hey, I really want to do this. And it's like, cool, well, how do we make both of these things happen?
Yeah.
It's compromise.
Yeah.
I don't know, and that's balance.
And
right?
you call her bullshit out too, just
Totally.
like she's calling your bullshit out, and that's what it is. Yes, we're using examples where our wife's looking at us going, "Dude, you can't take your bike on the camping trip this week because we're going. It's my grandmother's funeral." No, I'm kidding. But there are times when I'm just like, "Oh shit, you're right," and it's not like she's being a jerk.
No.
She's just being realistic.
Yeah. Like there
so
is
it's
no
just,
time for this.
You ready for all this, Jackson? July?
Well, yeah,
It only gets better.
Yeah.
Well, and it's been great because we've been together for 7 years. So it's
Yeah.
like, what's marriage really
Piss
going
or
to
get
change?
off the pot.
Well, we were in high school. That's what it was. Yeah, high school and college. So,
Babies having babies. We don't want that.
Yeah.
no. But I think what's really important is that like we are in a sport and a passion. I know that all of us would say that it's a passion that is super time consuming
Yep.
to a point where it does become like it well not does, but it could, if pushed to a specific point, could become two individual people living in a house together, and one rides their bike and the other just kind of does everything else for him. And I think that's not really a relationship. And so I think that it's not like we just drew attention to. It's not the wife taking us by the what do they call it on
Scruff of the
scruff
neck.
of the neck.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
on that. I was thinking of the back of the cat, but the scruff of the neck and pulling us out of it. It's a give and take thing.
Shit, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah,
that
and
kind of thing.
My
and-
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that, for instance, my fiance, she can get really like headstrong into work about stuff and like kind of think about that a lot, and I'll also have to be like, hey, like there's other stuff. So it's like it's a I think it's just like a healthy relationship will last, but time together I think is also really important. And I know that wasn't really what we were talking about.
No,
It is. It's
very
all
close.
balance.
It's the balance.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
balance we're talking about. So, there we go. Sam, you got a quick tip for us? I do have to mention quick tips with Bike Fit Sam, brought to us by Ambassador Cycling, who I'm
Nice,
sporting their
nice.
case.
Nice. I like
Nice.
it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
I like
by the way, it's a well-fitting shirt too. I think it
Oh,
might be a
well,
little. It's slimming. My algorithm on Facebook thinks I'm a dad bod because everything's just like, look how fat I am in this shirt. I need a slim shirt, and I'm like, well, I have my Ambassador Cycling shirt. Get fit to get fit. You guys check out ambassadorcycling.com. That is the man across the bar from me right here. So, what do you got for us this week, man? You got anything?
I do. So, man, I've had a couple in the last few weeks that have been just like really nagging foot numbness that it stumbled me for a while. I think that I have it figured out now. But if you have new shoes and those still are making your feet go numb, you've messed around with cleat placement, 4.5, putting it underneath, as we've talked in the past, underneath your metatarsal arch, big in the ball of your foot, big and small ball. Then God, this is so hard to do these with you guys.
Like Lance.
I know. Oh my gosh. It could be like having a Met pad is what we call it, and that disperses weight differently across the foot. And there's also unloading pads that will also do a similar thing. So, if you're basically, it all has to do with if you have bunions or if you have a malformed foot in some way. Yeah. That's a very much a more serious thing, and go get that checked out. And even like maybe start with a podiatrist, but that's something that I've been figuring out in the last week, and it took a lot of switching stuff around, but we got it situated.
Do you ever have anybody who has access to somebody who can create footbeds for them? I know that
We
there's
do.
like ski stores. You do that really heavily, the custom footbeds and stuff like that.
Yeah, so the owner of Tailwind actually does custom orthotics.
Wow.
And for cycling, like low profile ones will go in your cycling shoes.
Yeah.
So those are a big thing, and that's what one of these people had to have. And so, like, I can't take all the credit for that because I'm not trained in orthotics.
Wow.
But it is one of those pieces where it could be more complicated than just your basic shoe or cleat adjustment.
I have some old ones from my ski boots that happen to fit in my cycling shoes, and I still ride them to this day.
They probably smell
really?
pretty
You
good.
have those in your...
Oh, they smell like daisies. Yeah.
I
have
got a
my
question
cycling
for
shoes.
you,
Wow.
Sam. Do you find that problem more on people with new shoes, or they switch brands of shoes that have this problem, or is it something that comes around?
It's
almost
something
in
that they
pursuits?
had, and they were like riding, and like, man, I've tried, getting a pair of shoes, and this has persisted, and it is almost always like a bunion related thing or some kind of like a the foot deformity, but also old age.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I'm just
I don't know
your
what
foot
you're talking
flattens
about.
out. Your foot flattens out, and
Add that to the
sometimes
pile.
you need a little bit more support.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I have super high arches, so I
Yeah.
find that I need that, or my foot will cramp on
Yeah.
long rides. I'll get a cramp on
That's
my
really good. Keep strengthening your feet so you maintain that, because that's something that people don't do, and then they end up with flat feet.
He said fat feet.
Flat.
Well, he was looking at you.
I know.
You're not.
I'm working on it.
You know what I got called by my sister-in-law on my way over here?
What?
I called David and just rub in some, new stuff that I'm getting.
Yeah.
And his wife jumps on the...
And David went, hey, man.
Yeah, I know. And she's
Speak
just
up.
like, so she just really protects him with everything. She goes, you're the human equivalent of a stick of butter. And I was like,
What?
Whoa.
that. So you
You
didn't
know what
get
you
called
should
that
do?
today.
You know what you should do? Because they're both out of town? Burn their fucking house down.
Yeah.
Deal.
Light a
Actually,
match
you know
and
what?
walk away.
That's
Can of
something-
gas
That's something that I would do
And
to my brother.
some spite.
You don't.
Exactly.
You don't spray paint their sidewalk. You don't
No.
egg their house.
Torch
you
it!
burn the damn thing to the ground.
That is
Get the dog out of the house first. though.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
come
yeah.
on. I
We're
mean, we're
humane
not
here.
barbarians
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
everybody knows David and our relationship, so
Yeah.
they know that I would. Do
Oh,
that.
I love sometimes that you guys just take over the show and it's just like this banner back and forth. Well, the rest of us are just playing tennis, watching you guys go back and forth. It's fun.
Mom always did like it best.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, instead of burning his house down, just burn his fence down.
You know what? Even worse. I'm just
Oh.
gonna open up the water in the basement.
Oh, there you go.
Oh no!
See, that's worse, I
Yeah.
think, than burning
Flooding.
the house to the
Yeah.
ground.
Flooded.
Flooding,
Yeah.
because then you got to go back to the
And
house.
then the mold
and
that
fix
comes
it.
with black
Yeah.
mold and
Yeah.
the next.
I'm gonna
it's just
drain
a
his
gift that keeps on
wallet and
gifting.
his marriage,
Slow,
and his
cancerous death,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
what I
yeah,
want.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go to the final question to
Love
cheer
you, bro.
things up here. Love you, bro. Yeah, David, we miss you, man. Final question, the final K. What rider, in your opinion, is the most underappreciated, either current or in the past? A bike rider, a pro rider that you see that was never received the credit he or she deserved. I keep the first two that pop into my head. Both actually wore 7-Eleven kits. Inga Thompson and Sean Yates. Both amazing riders. Sean Yates was one of the best domestiques in the business. I don't think he ever got his enough days in the sun. Those are my picks. Anybody got one?
Yep.
Paul?
Tim DeClerc.
Oh,
Tim DeClerc controls the pack, breakaways, whatever. And you'll see him in the
Tractor.
early. Yeah, the
Yeah,
tractor. He'll be there for over 100K. Determine the whole peloton. If it needs to pick up, he'll pick up the pace.
Yeah.
Stuff.
ride himself into the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Just tempo. Yeah.
I think Luke
he's
Rowe.
amazing.
Luke Rowe?
Yeah, he's another one.
He's
Yeah.
another one of those guys that just he doesn't really get that much, but who's always the road captain?
Yeah.
Luke Rowe, because he is the trusty steed, right? He's organizing everything.
That's kind of what Yates did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I just think, as I agree with Yates as well, but a more current.
Is Luke the other half of What's Occurring?
Yeah,
yeah,
he was with
Luke
Garrett?
and
Yeah.
Garrett.
Other podcasts. Oh,
Oh,
Come on!
There we go.
there we go.
I know he's a world champion, but I think Mads Pedersen is pretty underappreciated.
My God, he's
World champion
he's
for
on the
like
verge.
6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
He's got to be on the verge of something great. I mean, I see him getting so close. It's got to be so frustrating to be in this time. You know,
We're on that
it's-
team.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's I just almost know how Raymond Poulidou, almost with going from Merckx into the Bernardino, and or was that the transition? Merckx, do we know? I think so.
And then Hinault and Fignon and Le Mans.
Yeah.
They were just like that bang, bang,
Yeah,
bang.
it's just like always the second place kind of a thing like that.
You know where I think he could absolutely rip stuff apart is Soudal. Soudal Quickstep.
Oh, you think he needs to switch teams?
Yeah.
I don't think that Trek has enough to support
No.
Mads Pedersen, but if he switches to like a hardcore classics team, there'd be no possibility.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go, Mads. Business career advice. But even with guys like Quinn Simmons and
Quinn's always looking for
Quinn's
himself.
and Quinn's never going to be. He's not as strong as.
Won't bury himself for that type
No.
of a position. Okay. Interesting to hear. Well, there you go. There you have it from us. Ardennes Classics this weekend. I'm starting to hear that people want to come over to my house at 5:00 in the morning on bike races for
fun.
weekends from now on. But
But not this Sunday, huh?
no, I got an announcing gig. I'm doing one
trail
that
run.
I've done. Yeah, I'm
Kansas
doing one that
City
I've
there.
done since I started my announcing career in the 1990s. I've done it every year for them, and it's a great trail run. I don't like to run unless I'm being chased. But a great event, Spokane, Washington this weekend. It all benefits, all the proceeds go to the great program for kids. It's called the Apple Program. It helps, I from the best of my knowledge, it helps at risk kids with what am I trying to say? Challenges, and try to make things better for them. It's an awesome event, and it's a trail run that's 5K up to like 50K. A 50K trail run
around Riverside, right?
Yeah. It's just lunacy. Yeah. And by the way, I do have to plug 24 Hours of Riverside.
Yep.
Get your entries in. I think Dave's doing it by himself now, isn't he?
Yeah, he couldn't rope any of us in. I was like, I was gonna do
so
it
funny.
if we were gonna put a squad together, and then
I gotta
Jackson
pay
bailed,
for some
and then
wheels.
Jackson. Yeah.
if our other friend Ryan, who did it last year with the Bachelor Group, was gonna do it, I was like, all right, I'll do it if he does, and then he's fortunately gone, so I'm like, I'm out.
We will be posting some short clips of David.
Of David
at
soul
about 3
breaking.
o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Just to get those out there. Yes. But 24 hours of riverside.com. Go check that out. Thanks, you gentlemen. Thank you guys once again for being
you.
part of the
Thanks,
show.
thank you.
And thank you guys for listening to us. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, and check out the website. I keep forgetting. I got to encourage people to check out the website because there are blog posts, and I challenge you guys to write something for us.
All right.
Mike,
That's
yeah.
it. Throwing it down. Catch you guys next week.